Dear Diary, today I, as I do many times, have found myself in an internal moral dispute, or perhaps it's more like my emotions are tearing my brain apart again. Despite being 28 years old, I find the concept of forgiveness to be frustrating. Is forgiveness an alleviation of the soul and spirit? If so, for who? When we're children, we are taught to apologize, to say, I'm sorry when we do something wrong. And what follows is an obligatory, it's okay. As we mature, the action behind the sorries diversify and become extremely complex. Children apologize for breaking a toy, pushing someone out of rage. Adults apologize for cheating on their partners, crossing a close friend, harming others physically and emotionally, or things worse that I don't want to think about. And at the end of all of that, after the obligatory apology, even if the chance isn't 100%, there's always some glimmer of hope. A 50% chance that he'll still be your friend, a 3% chance that she'll take you back, an 11% chance that they will absolve you of your guilt. That is what forgiveness may look like to the person who seeks it out, but that's only a small fraction of the overall picture. What does forgiveness bring to the party that has been harmed? Does forgiveness mean releasing your anger amicably? Does it mean setting yourself free from the shackles of the pain inflicted upon you? Or does it still persist afterwards? I went to get a bagel 9 months ago and had the pleasure of having a kind young woman take my order. While we were talking, I noticed her sweatshirt was all black and simply had the word apologize embroidered on it. I told her it was awesome and we both laughed and parted ways. I glanced at the shirt one more time and felt a sense of sorrow well up inside of myself. I, many times, have sought forgiveness, but am not sure if I know how to forgive. I think of things said that shouldn't have been, misplaced laughter, lashing out at people only trying to help. As I saw them in pain, all I wanted to do was take that away from them. But I can't deny that my hope was also stripping myself of the guilt and shame I accrued from an action I sooner or later deemed horrendous. In writing this reflection, I am reminded of two pieces of media. The first is Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Advent Children takes place 2 years after the events of Final Fantasy VII, which saw the planet be saved at the cost of a dear character, Aerith's, life, who meant everything to the main cast, especially the protagonist, Cloud Strife. In the film, Cloud also has to grapple with the loss of his friend, one may argue savior, Zack, who he promised he would live out both of their lives on his deathbed. Advent Children sees Cloud devastated as he blames himself for not being able to save Aerith and live out his and Zack's lives as his living legacy. He finds himself having conversations with the dead, with Aerith asking him at one point what he himself wants, to which Cloud responds he wants to be forgiven more than anything. However, Aerith says two things in response. The first is, by who? And the second is, don't you think it's time you did the forgiving? Cloud's failings haunt him. His conversations with the dead are a reflection that he's trapped himself in a prison of not only living with these failings, but punishing himself for them, as seen in his isolation from his loved ones. Even with Aerith's admission that she never blamed him for what happened, I imagine it would be impossible to feel like that's enough to atone towards the person he had to bury. So I wonder, if Cloud's forgiveness needs to come from within, how does he do it? Is it something that he can let go of? Though he seems to find some resolution and peace by the end of the film, I wondered, was that forgiveness? Is it as simple as recognizing a bad feeling and relieving yourself from it? If so, that's lovely. But another thought intruded my mind a few days later. Say the girl in the sweatshirt isn't apologized to. Say the action done, the words spewed at someone, aren't unforgivable, but unapologetic. Then does it warrant forgiveness? And what brought this on was the second piece of media, Naoki Urasawa's Monster. Monster follows Dr. Tenma, a surgeon who saved the life of a young boy named Johann, who would go on to commit several atrocious crimes. Dr. Tenma feels the need to stop Johann from committing any more crimes, and despite being a savior of life, he tries to build himself up greatly to take one. But what makes Johann so special is that everything he does is done with no hint of regret or need for forgiveness. He believes that there is a monster inside of him, one that honestly seems better suited to reside inside of his twin sister, Nina, but never manifests. No, Nina, a moral compass throughout the series, does the unthinkable. Despite making it her mission to put Johann down, she makes the choice to forgive him for his transgressions. Despite his never having asked for it, it seemed like it was more for Nina, whose life had been horribly upended by Johann. So I returned to my inner conflict. I've wanted to make things right with others, for them and myself. But I myself am unsure of how to release that same anger and pain. I have found myself able to love people who have hurt me in due time, but I feel like I may only do it because I feel like it's a relationship worth salvaging. Like we can work things out, though I will always hold apprehension in my heart towards that person. Does this mean I can't forgive? Or maybe I can. It's a frustrating place to find myself in because I feel like it may be a tell of maturity, which I desperately want to attain and embrace. Or maybe I'm just worried about being guarded for the rest of my life, because on my quest to grow, my end goal is personal freedom. I hope I can find that freedom and encourage it, because I don't want these chains on myself or anyone else. Until next time, Cameron. Addendum. 1 week after finishing this entry, in a manner filled with nearly no malice, I thought of a person who I felt ripped me to my core several years ago. My heart rate was normal. My face wasn't hot. I simply thought of them. I placed my hands behind my head and sighed, and I said something out loud without realizing I said it or was even thinking it. Unprovoked and outside of earshot from every single being on this planet, barring the ladybugs who have made a habit of visiting me from Lord knows what entrance, the words, "I release you," escaped from my lips. Once I realized what happened, I felt one massive heartbeat erupt from my chest. followed by the feeling that I'd lost a significant amount of weight. I felt as though concrete had broken off my body and that I gained a sense of freedom. I think I finally understand what forgiveness means to me, that I can forgive, and that the maturity I seek is growing ever closer. Until next time, Cameron.